Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well, and this is the second video in our BigQuery series. In this video, I will be discussing IAM, means authentication to BigQuery datasets and tables. Furthermore, we will discuss how to create BigQuery resources by using CLI and Python client. Once again, welcome to this channel. I am Disha and I am Google Certified Cloud Engineer. Today, we will discuss some important topics about BigQuery. Okay, before diving into the new topic that we're gonna learn today, let's first of all look at what we learned in the last video. So in the last video, I discussed what is BigQuery. I gave entire overview of BigQuery, and we also discussed about tables and views, how we can create them and its importance, also its uses, and we discussed several use cases as well. And after completing that, we also looked into how we can create machine learning models by using BigQuery and by using SQL simple syntax. In this video, let's discuss what is the limitation of BigQuery and how we can authenticate ourselves as a human being or other application to the BigQuery datasets. We will also discuss what are the ways to deploy datasets and create tables under those datasets. If you are preparing for any certain cloud certification exam, the most important resource you should always consider looking into is the official documentation. I also passed my exam and I was also completely relied on Google's official documentation. So the first one here I am sharing is the very basic documentation on the BigQuery guide. It contains data sets, what should be the location, data retention practices, data storage and billings, and also the limitation that I was talking about. These are very important. The first one is the dataset location. This location can only be set at the creation time. After creating a dataset, you cannot change the location of the dataset. What you can do, you can copy that dataset to the different location, but you cannot change the location after creating the dataset, and that makes more sense if the dataset is completely physically residing in one of the data centers in Google. The second one is all the tables that are referred in the BigQuery must be stored in the same dataset. So whatever joins or partitions you are applying in the SQL, all the tables should be there in one dataset. The next is when you copy a table, the dataset that contains the source table and destination table must reside in the same location. Yeah, the same concept. Location should be consistent. Dataset names must be unique for each project, as everybody know. If you change a dataset's storage billing model, you must wait for 14 days. This is something your finance team should be aware of, and you can't enroll a dataset in physical storage billing if you have any existing legacy. This is something related to flat rate storage and also related to billing, which we will cover in the later videos. You can also look at the pricing if you are interested. If you are using free Google's account, then there is no need to currently be aware of the pricing. Also, there are several security features available here. You will be able to see authentication and required permissions. After that, it also gives what are the data creation practices that can be used, what are the languages that can be used. Here all are the languages that can be used while creating a dataset. Okay, without further ado, let's dive deep into how we can create a dataset by using another coding console in the Google Cloud. So here I am on the Google Cloud console on the main page, but after coming here you can type Vertex AI workbench, or you can type workbench. Okay, you will land on this page, and this will allow you to create a Vertex AI notebook in here. Now Google Cloud provides several coding interfaces which you can use for developing your code. The first one is this workbench under Vertex AI service. The second one is the workstation. Now workstations are very managed service provided by Google, but it requires cluster, and it adds additional cost into pricing. So if you are experimenting with something, if you are in a learning phase, I would suggest using Jupyter Notebooks. And also in your day-to-day life, you might have used Jupyter Notebooks and you must be familiar with it. Okay, by clicking on this create new, you will be able to see all the options to create this Vertex AI notebook. First of all, you can give the name of this notebook. I am giving as a Disha's notebook. And then you can customize the region as you want and the zone as well. What is the operating system that you want to get in this Jupyter notebook can be specified. All the other options, I would say default options are sufficient enough, and there is no need to customize those. Also, after giving all the options here, you will see the cost estimation option. Here it is estimating the cost, and it will cost me 117 point something dollar if I am keeping this notebook open every day. But you can when you are not using the notebook, you can stop this instance, and that will save your cost. Also, if you want to configure any advanced settings, you can come to this page and you can configure everything: machine types, disk, and networking, and all that stuff. But for the basic use, as I said, default options are sufficient enough. I already have the notebook here, so I am not creating a new notebook, and my notebook is opened here. By clicking this Open Jupyter Lab notebook, you can open the notebook. So here, as I said, there are three options to create your datasets and your tables in Google Cloud. The first one is by using Python. So everybody are very familiar with Python nowadays, and this is a really good approach to create your dataset and to create your table inside dataset. Okay, so first of all, we will have to import the required libraries. If these are not installed, you might have to install them, and you can do pip install in your notebook to install these libraries. After that, I am creating an object of this BigQuery client. By using that client, I will be able to create my dataset ID. The dataset ID should be in the syntax of project ID dot dataset ID, and that's why I created here I am giving a project ID, and my dataset ID is dataset by Python. After that, I am passing this ID to BigQuery.dataset function, and this will help me create the dataset. Also, I have allocated US East 4 as the location, and by using create dataset function, I am creating these datasets. If something goes wrong, it should terminate this connection. It should terminate this code after waiting for 30 seconds. Okay, by running this shell, you will see that your dataset should be available in the BigQuery. Okay, let me go to the BigQuery and let's check whether the dataset is available or not. Okay, my BigQuery is ready. Let me run this shell, and it says that the created dataset. Let's go to BigQuery and let's refresh the page. Under my project, it created a dataset which does not have any table. So yeah, this is how we can create a dataset by using Python client. Now let's create a table underneath that. Again, you will need a BigQuery client and everything that we imported in while creating the dataset. Here I am giving the table name, and then I am formatting that name in such a way that it has a syntax of project id dot dataset id dot table id. All right. Also, I am giving the schema here, and by using this created table option, I am creating this dataset. Let me run this shell, and it should create a table under this dataset. Okay, now you can see that table is created, and the schema is also there according to our need. Okay, this is how we can create table by using just one code snippet. You can also leverage Python to delete the tables. To delete the table, Python BigQuery client provides delete table function in which you will need to provide table ID. There is another parameter called not found. Okay, what does it means is that if the table ID is not present in your dataset, it's gonna skip it and it will not give any error. This is a very good option, and this should be mentioned if you are running a loop and creating tables in the iteration. The same, let me run that so that it deletes the table. Let's confirm it here in the BigQuery. Yes, it deleted a table. You can see this message that this table is not found. Yes. Now let's delete the dataset. The same thing, delete dataset function, provide the dataset ID, and not found. Okay, is the logistic. Okay, let's come back to Google Console, and our dataset should be gone. Okay, that's great. Now here we learned that we can use Python client to create a dataset and create a table inside that dataset. In the second part, I want to teach you how we can create a table by using command line. Meanwhile, let me click this close button here so that I don't get that annoying error in top of my mind. Okay, you are in the Google Cloud Console, and if you want to create a dataset, what you can use. So BigQuery provides BigQ command line utility so that you can use that utility from command line to create BigQuery logistics, BigQuery resources basically. So first of all, I want to create a dataset. So I will use BigQ, and I will need to provide MKs for make, and need to provide what do I want to create. So that is the dataset. So I will use dash dash dataset. Alright, so let's use this BigQ utility to create our first of all the dataset, and then we will create a table underneath that dataset. Okay, so this is the command that we can use to create a simple dataset. Here I am using BigQ -- location and providing this US multi region as a location, and then -d for creating a dataset, then -- description to give some description. There are a bunch of options you can provide while creating a dataset, and finally I am providing the dataset name. Okay, let's look at the other options which you can provide while creating this dataset. So in this documentation you will find that you can also provide the KMS key, partition expiration, partition table, and other description and all that stuff. Also, let's create a table by using the same command. For creating a table, first of all, you need to modify the first thing is instead of -d, here you're gonna give -t for the table, and then default table expiration, that is also applicable in creating table, but I am okay without it. Also, the description will be this is my table, and then you can give dataset dot table id. So let's say table by CLI. Yeah, so it created a successful table under the dataset. Also, I'll have to reload the page to get the changes reflected on my project. Here is my dataset, and this is the table that I created by using CLI. Hope this guideline was useful for you, and here we explored two simple ways to create your dataset and tables. The third way of doing it is by using Terraform. Now, Terraform itself is a whole different subject, and I will create a Terraform series on it. Generally, in the industry sides of view, for the security reasons and to be aware of the accident, they are disabling these clicks through which you can simply create, delete, or do some operations to your BigQuery. So as these are disabled, these are the other option to create your resources. The first one is using Python by using CLI or using Terraform. I hope this video was useful for you and you gain some insights regarding how you can create a dataset. The last thing that I want to share in this video is the authentication. Now, authentication is really critical when it comes to any Google Cloud product. So if you want to allow any third party to access your dataset and not damage your dataset, then there are a bunch of other authentication rules that you can set up to limit the access of your datasets and table. In this documentation, you will find all the methods or the dataset authentication that is required for BigQuery to settle up. If you want to give any other user permission to access your BigQuery data, these are a very basic rule that you should keep in your mind, or you should provide while giving somebody else's access to your BigQuery. For example, if you want to just give a view access to end user, then you can use BigQuery user role so that they can just use your data for the viewing purposes and dashboarding purposes, and not so that they can view your dataset. If you are having any third-party application that is also using your BigQuery dataset to read or write, at that time you should create a separate service account so that those applications get the access to your BigQuery. I hope you like this video and like the content of this video. If so, please leave a comment that will encourage me to create a more such video, and we will also explore several critical projects in which we will use all these products to create our website. Until that time, thank you so much for watching. Bye.